Greetings all, this is Hairy Nick and welcome back to a bit more footage I shot last weekend over at PAX. This is another one of the 32-point casual games hosted by Hill of a Pilot. Once again, Mike, if you're watching, thanks for doing these, you did a great job. Real awesome stuff. Now, these two players do not involve me. This is Mr. James Williams and Mr. Jarryd Bast. And they kindly agreed to let me record their game so I could make a battle report on it. Now, by the way, guys, this is actually one of the first proper battle reports I'm putting on this channel. So I'm sort of playing around with the look of it. I like the idea of having the pilot cards and upgrade cards all visible and the shield and the hull and all that kind of stuff visually. So let me know in the comment. What do you think of this? Do you think I should be putting more stuff on the screen, less stuff on the screen? Is there any information I'm missing here which I should be putting on? Just let me know. I'm playing around with the way I do this and I really want to make these super cool for the channel. We will be doing some 100-point tournaments at some stage, and I want to make sure by the time I do those I get this down pat, looking real nice, so we can do some real nice battle reports for the channel. Anyway, let's have a chat about the players here, because they're just setting up, doing their thing. I met James Williams actually at PAX, so a really cool guy. Has his own YouTube channel. Actually, I will just quickly bring up the details for that. It is called Count Core. Specialises in Let's Plays and Twitch streams on various computer games, that kind of thing. You can find that at www.youtube.com/user/Dr. Manta. I'll pop that link in the description. And one more thing I want to say about James, he actually came along to PAX with some really cool business cards, which were actually alt art X-Wing cards, and I'll show that off here. It was an alt art Jakku Gunrunner with this unique character, and on the back it had all of James' contact details, so if you want to see that, check this out here. Mr. Jarryd Bast, sitting on the right here, is part of the Box Hill X-Wing group known as Black Havoc Squadron. They're based out in Good Games, Box Hill, and they just started a podcast as well, which Jarryd's also a part of. That's called Black Havoc Radio. Again, I'll pop that link down in the description. Real cool guys. Real nice to hang out with both of them here at PAX. And we're up to opening maneuvers. Alright, let's actually talk about the lists. James is flying Tomax Bren with Adrenaline Rush, Lightweight Frame, the TIE Shuttle Title, Agent Callus, and Tactician. Now this is very interesting. I actually played against James in a previous tournament, as in a previous 32-point tournament, where he played this, but instead of Adrenaline Rush he had Crackshot, and instead of Tactician he had Kylo Ren. Now, obviously, taking a ship with only 2 red dice to a 32-point tournament is kind of risky. However, it is worth noting that the bomber is very durable. 6 pieces of health, 2 green dice. It did often go to time, which was quite interesting. And the way he's used his upgrades here, it's almost like you have more efficiency out of your dice, so it kind of feels like you actually have more dice. With the Adrenaline Rush build, it basically means his entire dial is green and white. All the red maneuvers are treated as white maneuvers because he always uses Adrenaline Rush, because he always gets it back from Tomax Bren's ability. So here on the screen is Tomax Bren's dial, but getting rid of the reds, you can see what I mean. It actually makes it a very, very versatile ship. Agent Callus is another interesting one. Obviously in one-on-one he has his full value all the time, which is awesome. And he's a really cool card in terms of what he does the odds with the dice. He's often converting results on sort of 2 red dice. As long as we're getting target locks, focus results are likely to come up once every sort of other roll, if that makes any sense. And this is probably the most efficient you can put Agent Callus on in a 32-point build. You can obviously take him on the TIE Phantom, but then that means there's no room for other upgrades. For example, someone else actually took a TIE Phantom, the PS1 generic, and put Advanced Cloaking Device on him. And obviously after Advanced Cloaking Device there wasn't any room for anything else. That was a really cool build, by the way. Very effective, but not a good platform for Agent Callus. Moving on to Jarryd's list, we're flying Vader, Lone Wolf, TIE X1 and Advanced Targeting Computer. Not much to say, really solid list. Lone Wolf, again, because we're only flying one-on-one, gets its full value. You get a reroll on your blanks on all attacks and all defense. Really, really nice. TIX1, an advanced targeting computer, obviously means when he has Tomax Bren locked, he adds a crit result to all of his attacks. Unless, of course, he spends the target lock. Vader, of course, taking 2 actions per turn. Very solid. Really, really good ace. Was sort of pushed out of relevancy in the last year or so by ships like the Inquisitor, the TIE Strikers, a lot of the new Imperial aces. But with the introduction of cards like Intensity and the cruise missiles, Vader is seeing a lot more relevance. Anyway, here's his attack here. 2 hits, 1 crit, I believe. And a single evade. Taking 1 hit and 1 crit. A little bit of confusion over lightweight frame there. He actually should have rolled 1 more dice for lightweight frame. But that confusion gets cleared up later on. Now at this stage I very nicely asked James to pass me the card so I can show it to the camera, and it's a shaken pilot. So Tomax down to 4 hull, and with a shaken pilot cannot be assigned straight maneuvers. Tomax firing back, 1 hit, 1 miss. Vader, with all his dice, of course, gets an evade result. Not a very strong start for Tomax. But to be fair, this is a very tough matchup for him. Vader being able to push through those crits on a ship that only has 2 green dice. I mean, if Vader was flying against something like an ace with 3 green dice, had ways to stack up tokens, he'd be struggling a lot more, but yeah, it's a tough matchup. Back to dials. Jarryd having a bit of a think there. Got to remember that all of Tomax's red maneuvers, including this very, very courageous 2 hard here, is suddenly white because of Adrenaline Rush. And there's me craning over to make sure that didn't hit. Very nicely done. Just clears the rock. I probably would have done the 3 hard myself just to make sure. You can't really see on camera, but that was really close. Tomax taking his focus. Vader doing a 5 straight. Focus evade. Clean up. Back to dials. So this is where Tomax's build really shines. Being able to fly around this rock. All those 2 hards are red. It's bizarre what it does to the dial. It almost arguably makes it a better dial than Vader's. Because of those white K turns. And just that efficiency of hugging that rock really tightly really puts Vader on the back foot here. What's he gonna do? What's he gonna do? Taking a focus token. Probably should have gone for a target lock there. James may have forgotten that he had Agent Callus at that point. That's alright, we all make mistakes. I think both ships getting each other in arc. Range 3. Yep, looks like it's quite easily in range 3. Vader assigning his free crit. 1 hit, 1 crit, and blanks out. No lightweight frame, already rolled 3 dice. 1 hit, 1 crit. What do we got this time? A structural damage. Reduce the ship's agility by 1 to 1. Can roll to flip it face up. Just clipping the back, probably. Yep. Players agreeing. Range 3, just in arc. Converter focus. Did not forget Agent Callus there. But that's not enough for Vader, unfortunately. That Vader always focus / evading with Lone Wolf is just so hard to get shots through. That's really rough. On a ship with only 2 dice. It's a real uphill battle for Tomax Bren here. But that's the matchup. Sometimes this is what happens. I will say, actually, just apart from these games here, James actually came equal first. So, absolutely not having a go at his ship. It's just the matchup here which really hurt him. Jarryd almost forgetting to do a K-turn there for James. And James opting for a target lock this time. I think that's probably the right call. Unless he wants to flip his structural damage. Nah, get the target lock out. There's not a great guarantee that Jarryd will get a shot here, so... Just moves him straight. Probably just pushed him out of range 3. Although I can see a ruler sitting back there. Okay, that's definitely beyond range 3 now. And out of arc. So Vader there just jockeying for position. Still got that structural damage there on Tomax Bren. At this point, I really feel like Tomax is on the back foot. Vader, with the 2 actions, is going to have better positioning overall. I don't know if you can quite fit that K-turn in there. He's rolling inward, try and keep that shot. I feel like as soon as Vader turn around, this is pretty much all going to be over. What did Vader do here? A 3 hard? Dodges that nicely. Could potentially roll into arc here, but that would roll both ships into each other's arc, so... Probably not beneficial. I think it's probably better that Vader plays the slow game here. Evade focus. Yep, clean up. Given Jarryd's options there, I felt like that was the right call. Tomax going for 2 hard inward again? Most likely. Yep, there it is. Again, proccing Adrenaline Rush. That card is getting ridiculous use this game. Gives him access to a barrel roll, prevents stress. Cannot barrel roll because the rock's in the way. There is no position on that facing that he can complete that barrel roll, so therefore he need not take it. Always a careful thing you got to do with barrel roll. In case you guys aren't aware, if you place down the token for barrel roll, if you can take it, you must on that side of the ship. So always be careful of that. If it's close, sometimes it's better just not to roll. He gets 2 hits. Did he get his free crit? Looks like James got enough results anyway. Now, unfortunately, it looks like the players forgot about structural damage. Sometimes that happens. We all make mistakes. Honestly, I do that occasionally as well. Even after playing this game for this long. But both players forgot. That's all good.
Oh no, you're clearing it. Sorry. I was checking the line. You're hitting it if the distance was...
Doing his white K turn there. Adrenaline rushing for a barrel roll. The ability to barrel roll every turn means you can just keep the pressure on your opponent's ship. It reminds me of what was happening when I was flying Thweek the day before. And again, advanced sensor, making sure I always got that barrel roll in. Same with James's list here with the Adrenaline Rush. It may not have been good enough here though. Vader just playing with the edge of Tomax's arc there. And I believe at this point they actually asked me to dive in to check this because this is close. Range 2. So Vader taking his shot first. Again, we forgot structural damage. But lightweight frame proccing. Now, there was a bit of confusion here. Jarryd claiming, no, this ability does not add a dice. Me and the other judge standing nearby saying, no, advanced targeting computer adds a result, that is a dice. That's what we were deciding on the day. Don't know if that's technically the right way to call it, but given how other cards in the game interact, that's what we decided. Now, answer in the comments. If we interpreted that incorrectly, please tell me, because I do need to know. Now, Tomax firing back. Does he have a shot? That is the question. Players just having a bit of a chat, having a bit of a think about it.
From memory, no, they don't. Because they're more kind of like a slower, like more like a Y-wing. Yeah. And you got a phone to you? So I should check if I actually have a thing on you as well.
And there's the freehand laser. There's the elbow on the table laser.
If you'd like, I can do it for you guys. Well, yeah. Teaching? Yeah. I'll check it.
And then there's me leaning in from afar. No, not accurate enough, can't see it. Get around the front of the camera. So I can really crane my head down. And I think we decided that it was not a shot. Which is a shame, because that would have been the first time we got tactician proccing. And I think this is the point where we realise, oh, structural damage, we haven't been calling it. Both players forgot, so that's just how it goes, unfortunately. Remember, kids, always look at your critical damages. Always remember. And that includes your opponent's critical damages as well. Yeah, there's me just telling them to forget about it. There's no point stressing about that kind of stuff. If you both forgot, you both forgot. And look, if you notice that you have a critical damage that advantages your opponent, you should tell them. It's the right thing to do. Even if the onus is not on you, it's absolutely the right thing to do. Just good sportsmanship. And in this instance, James did not realise. Absolutely not insinuating that he did that. Vader doing his fancy schmancy 4K. Which for him is red, but I believe that just gets Tomax in range. In arc, range 2. So he still gets 2 green dice because of that debris cloud. 2 misses, lone wolves into 2 crits. And gets 3 evades off of 2 crits.
You are beating the odds here, James. I know. You should not be getting that many evades.
Yeah, just me in the background there, commenting on the efficiency of lightweight frame. Really doing its work in this game. So Tomax doing the K-turn here? Yes.
Flip face down, has action.
Flip structural damage.
Nothing. Flip.
Nope, rolls for it. Doesn't get it, unfortunately. Too bad, so sad. Those roll to flip critical damages can just be so painful sometimes when you just don't get it turn after turn. It's one of those things, and it's what I've noticed here, especially in 32-point games. Variance can really sting you in these games. I played against a Fen Rao in the previous video I did on this, actually. And because one roll matters, one roll can be the difference between your entire list blowing up and not. Just the variance kills you. And it's the same with flipping these structural damages, or any crit that relies on rolling to flip it. I'm not sure if the structural damage had much more of a hand in the rest of the game here. But it still hurt. And it still means that James did not get an action there that he otherwise could have taken. And I think we got each other in arc, range 3 here. James still getting his 2 dice because of range 3. Hit crit. One critical damage going through on James's Tomax. And it's a direct hit. Always sad to see that happen, but that was James versus Jarryd at the last PAX 32-point tournament hosted by Hell of a Pilot. It was really cool. Actually, James and Jarryd both went on to finish equal first alongside another pilot who flew Countess Ryad. And they did a simultaneous final salvo between 3 pilots. And of course, the pilot with 3 red dice won. Countess Ryad took it, but both these lists did really well. It's easy to look at this Tomax build and go, oh, well, look how it performed against Vader. Let's be honest, guys. It's just a bad matchup for the build. Tomax with that build, with that internal efficiency, is just so good in these 32-point builds. And of course, Vader is Vader. Just really solid, works really well. And yes, that's the last video I'm going to show you guys from these 32-point tournaments. I've still got some from the show floor videos to show you guys. A lot of cool retailers, particularly some interesting manufacturers making some stuff which could be very useful for Star Wars Legion that I want to talk about. But for the time being, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, like our Facebook page, and I will catch you later.